Talking real estate here on Real Estate Talk Boston, joined by commercial real estate broker Alan Suzuki from HFF. Alan, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Now, I've never used this term before, but I think we can call you a hotelier. Is that correct?
That's correct,
You
yes.
work within the commercial hotel space. Here in Boston, how do you see that space compared to other parts of the country right now?
Yeah, I mean, high level, I think Boston. I'm incredibly bullish on Boston. It's a market that has a lot of different kinds of demand generators, from leisure guests, from tourists that love to come here and visit. We have a great convention market here with 2 convention centers that drive conventions throughout the year. And then we just have a very diversified economy from lots of different corporations, and anchored by our institution of higher education and healthcare. We have a fantastic financial services sector. We have a fantastic pharmaceutical, high technology sector that all drives demand into our hotels. So that's the demand side of the equation. But we also, from a supply perspective, it's a very difficult place to build. There's not a whole lot of available land to build hotels. We have the Boston Planning and Development Agency that kind of oversees what gets built here, so that there's a right development that's going on, and the costs of construction are high. So it's not an easy place to build, but if you can find opportunities to find sites to build hotels, they can be tremendously successful.
It's amazing to see the seaport area, right? And the development that has come there over recent years. How did it last that long? Just being parking lots and barren space. It blows my mind.
Right. I think it's a really exciting time to be in Boston today, just to see these new neighborhoods being developed and created. It blows my mind too. I've been here for about 15 years, and it's been in planning for a number of years, but it's exciting to see that actually getting built out today.
Now, speaking of hotels, with the talk of the casino coming and that hotel being built, how will that impact the rest of the market in Boston?
Yeah, it's something to keep an eye on. I mean, certainly I think it's a 625-room hotel. Certainly in the summertime, spring and fall, I think there's plenty of demand to go around. I'm excited to see how the casino drives the economic growth here in Boston. I think it's an interesting alternative to some of the hotels that are in downtown. But I guess the question is what happens in January on a Tuesday night? Is the hotel going to be filled?
Sure.
That's the question.
I'm sure that's the question with a lot of hotels that go up. You drive through certain parts of the state and you see these hotels popping up. Not a lot there. I mean, you have to be careful on what you're building around. I'm sure that's the main driver.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about one of the phrases that I learned in school is find location, location, location. That's what it is in real estate, right? For hotels, it's all about building in locations that have a high concentration of office buildings where you get corporate demand, or near some leisure attractions that drive demand for on the weekends.
Now, let's flip it to career-wise for you. You're a successful commercial real estate broker. Being in real estate, I get asked all the time, like, how do you get in? Where do you start? What would you suggest to somebody that's trying to crack that nut and get into the game?
Yeah, so maybe early on, I think it's always good to take some classes, or perhaps do a real estate minor, or focus your attention on finance. Do some internships if you can. I know we offer internships, but a lot of our competitors and a lot of real estate companies do offer internships, just to get your feet wet, just to get an idea about how the industry works, whether it's a good fit for you. That was kind of my background. I started in a hotel real estate school. I got my feet wet working in hotels, and then worked at a company that did feasibility work and appraisals and so on, and that's how I got to where I am today.
And from what I understand, it's not one of those industries you can just jump right into. You definitely have to put in your time, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's not an industry where you could just jump into. I think it takes some nuance, and it's important to understand kind of how the deal works with the numbers and so on.
We talk to a lot of residential real estate people out there, and we always talk about apps that they can't live without. Is there any piece of technology on your end, on the commercial side, that you just can't live without?
Yeah, there's an incredible amount of technology out there that it just blows my mind how far we've come over the past few years. There's software out there that allows you to find any building in the country, find out who who the tenants are, what kind of rents they're paying, when was it last sold, how is it financed, and so there's an incredible amount of information that you can invest in. But I know at HFF we actually invest a tremendous amount of capital and time into our own proprietary software that allows us to communicate within our firm. So if someone from London, for example, meets an investor in the Middle East that wants to bring in capital and invest in real estate in the U.S., we could communicate throughout the firm. So that's incredibly powerful.
So there's a definite advantage to working with a firm like yours, HFF, because when you're communicating with somebody like yourself, you're really throwing your network out to everybody across the whole world.
Yeah, that's correct. And we're collaborating across our firm, coming up with ideas, what works, what doesn't work, finding new buyers, finding new sellers. So certainly, I think that helps when in the business.
Thanks, Alan. And if you'd like to connect with Alan and his team directly over at HFF, you can go to their website at hfflp.com. And remember, we have more real estate information just like this right here on boston.com.